That's not the one I want. There we go. Morning.
Hi.
Uh, it is way too early for me.
I mean, I don't like necessarily needing to do things this early, but I am frequently up this early.
Yeah, I am not. There's times that I've been going to bed at this time.
Yeah, I had a dream that we got on to do this to make the recording, and you were like,
hmm
"Yeah, I just stayed up."
Well, I mean, I did joke about that last night.
I know, but you did in the dream.
I mean, I went to bed at the time we're recording this. It's 6:13 in the morning. I think I went to bed around it was somewhere around 1 o'clock.
Gross.
Yeah, so that is how committed I am to this podcast. You've got an utterly nice coffee mug there.
Thank you, thank you. That's
Uh,
really
f-
more of a visual joke. Sorry,
it
listeners.
is.
My mug has udders. It's a cow.
Yeah, it's
And
the
the little,
bottom
yeah, the
where it
stand.
makes contact with the table is utters.
It's fantastic.
Mine, if it can focus here.
Death before decaf, nice.
Yes, yes. And I've got my extremely black coffee in it.
Good deal.
Uh, Yep, Black Rifle Coffee Company. Good stuff.
They
Love
do
all
have
their
good
stuff.
stuff.
hmm
Mine is local. It's from Auntie Ray's.
Oh,
Um,
well, who do they get their roasting from?
I don't know, but it's the cranberry cream
Mm,
is really good.
that sounds good.
Okay,
Okay.
I did no preparation for this episode because William Golding, nice. Sorry. Uh, I'm looking at the fact you just pasted in because I just like 6 minutes ago sent you the document for today's episode. And like many other writers, I do my best work when I'm under an extreme time crunch and
Mhm.
also when I'm either over or undertired. Undertired? Is that a thing? I mean, like I'm getting up early as opposed to staying up late. That's
Undertired is not a thing. That's just being awake.
that is what I wanted to say. Um,
Okay.
so maybe I am overtired right now, which proves this should be this is an interesting episode.
This is a good one.
I currently have 7 tabs open related to
Okay.
this episode.
Okay. So you got some good ones.
I went down a very steep rabbit hole,
Okay.
and we're gonna test my ability to skim and discern interesting content before 6:30 in the morning.
Good God. With that, welcome to Words Are Hard, a writing and editing podcast. I'm your host, Ramsey, the extrovert in charge of keeping the conversation flowing.
Oh no, hold on, I have to scroll up. I'm your other host, Rachel, editor, indie author, and English teacher.
And today's topic is all about eggcorns.
Eggcorns. I
Eggcorns.
I
Yes.
incorrectly wrote down the topic last week. I
Which is
said it
kind of
was
fitting for what an eggcorn is
it
because
is. I
it's
said it was going to be commonly mispronounced words because that's what I
right.
was told to write down on the podcast list.
No, it is not. I told you eggcorns and you put commonly mispronounced words.
I feel like that's not how that went, but
That is exactly how that went, and nobody can prove it otherwise.
this is a listener recommended topic.
Yep.
I'm
Shout
going
out
to go
Maria.
ahead and assume that Maria listens to this and not just listens to us talk about it. Don't tell me otherwise. That's what I'm going to
Okay.
go with.
Yes, let's go with that.
Maria has been instrumental in the founding of this podcast. She's been around since the beginning, and she has been very, very kind and patient listening to us discuss the same topic over and over and over. She was there for all 300 of the titles.
Yes, she was. Yep, and had a lot of oh my God, that's bad. To the titles.
Yep.
So,
She
yep,
gave
yep,
very important feedback.
yes, yep.
And this is going to sound bad, but I mean it as a very sincere compliment. She's honest and tells us when it sucks, which
Yep.
really, seriously, you need. You
No,
need
it
somebody
is.
who's going to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
And
And
she
we've
does it in a
discussed that
very kind way.
to you.
Well, yeah, I don't care what she says to you. But yes,
um,
so this was a topic that Maria suggested. And I'm really
yes.
glad she did because, like I said, I've gone down a very interesting rabbit hole
Well,
and I'm going to keep reading when we're done with this.
yeah, for those of you who don't know, Maria's my girlfriend. We were months ago, maybe even a year ago, we were doing housework and she put on a YouTube video and it just happened to be one of these things about Eggcorns. And I can tell you we didn't get a lot done because we just ended up watching this YouTube
It's
video.
really interesting.
It is. It is. So before we get into that, let's get our fun fact out of the way here. Like you mentioned before, I just put one in about William Golding. If you guys don't know, which I'm hoping because then I don't feel as dumb, William Golding wrote Lord of the Flies. And I'm sure other things I just don't know. Do you know anything
That's
else
the
by
big
him?
one. Yeah.
That's the big one, Lord of the Flies. Okay. So referring to the writing of Lord of the Flies, he has been quoted to call it boring and crude. He believed that it was, quote, a joke that the book was considered a classic, and late in his life, he refused to reread it at all, fearing that the novel would dismay him even more than he could bear.
Which I think I speak for many authors when I say big mood.
Mood.
I
But can
really,
you imagine just hating your book so much?
apparently, this is kind of a thing. Like, there are a lot of authors who will not reread their work.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not one of them. I write because I want to read a specific story and I can't find it. So I'm
I
writing for
can,
myself, but
I,
a lot of them won't. Like John Green,
yeah,
Looking for Alaska, Fault in Our Stars,
okay,
that John Green.
yep.
He said this too. He won't reread his stuff.
And I mean, I can understand that from maybe a self critiquing point. Like artists, they make a painting and they hate it because all they do is see the flaws. I can understand that, but
Sure, I hate it too, but I still want to look at it.
but to go as far and say that you think that it's a joke that your book is considered a classic.
Okay, no, that I get. That would be I
Yeah,
I really am not a big fan of Lord of the Flies.
it was dry.
Well, it was written that way intentionally and there's reasons
Well,
and whatever.
yeah.
But like just the content, like the story itself is just I get what he was doing. I
Mhm.
think it's good. I just don't enjoy it. But every time I hear something about William Golding, I'm like, this guy sounds amazing.
I did use this as a trivia question for the places that I do trivia at. What did the boys use to light the signal fire?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't read it since freshman year.
No, it's Piggy's glasses.
Oh, sure,
Yep.
sure, sure.
He was not a
No,
willing participant in that, but
yeah, no. I blocked most of that book out of my memory
no, fair. But
immediately.
here, going off on everything we've talked about editing and or publishing, I should say, all that kind of stuff. This book is considered a classic, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's taught in schools across the country. It's on every bookstore, probably most likely every chain one, anyways. It was rejected 21 times before getting published. So there
Which
you go.
nowadays 21 times is like, wow, you were only rejected 21
Oh,
times.
okay. But it was rejected 21 times before getting published finally, and now it's a classic. So to those out there that are dealing with the rejection of publishing, just wait.
That's like a single
Keep
round of
trying.
queries now.
Just, shh. You're totally invalidating everything I'm saying.
I'm sorry. No, the point stands.
I'm
It's a
trying to
good,
be super sincere and
good job.
encouraging, and you're just cutting it down.
This is what
So,
I'm like at 6:30 in the morning.
with that, let's just move on to our main topic of egg corns.
An egg corn, according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, is a word or phrase that sounds like and is mistakenly used in a seemingly logical or plausible way for another word or phrase. So the
So,
beginning of
dumb it down. What does that mean?
the beginning of my rabbit hole, I'm going to explain this here.
Okay.
I started with the NPR website. They hosted a listener suggested, like, give us your best Eggcorns, and
Mm-hmm.
they compiled a list of 100 Eggcorns, which I'm going to go through in a minute.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know more about the word itself. So then I found a website created by Dr. Chris Wagle.
I think he's the guy that
She,
coined she. Oh,
she, Dr. Christine Wagle.
okay.
And then I started looking into her because I was like, okay, well, what's your connection to this? Her connection to this is she thinks it's interesting. She holds a PhD in geophysics with
Okay.
concentration in remote sensing from the University of Alaska Fairbanks and a German diploma in physics from the University of Heidelberg.
Wow.
So not who you would expect
No.
to host a linguistic website, but here we are. That has nothing to do with the word. I just thought it was really interesting.
It's just proof that you can pretty much do anything on the internet.
You can pretty much do anything. So, but she actually has kind of more of a breakdown of where this word came from.
Okay.
According to her, in September 2003, Mark Lieberman
That's the guy.
reported an incorrect yet particularly suggestive creation. These are her
Hmm.
words. Someone had written egg corn instead of acorn.
Yep.
And he
And egg,
realized,
Eggcorn,
yep,
egg corn.
egg corn. And he realized that there wasn't a term for words like this that are
Mm-hmm.
misheard, misunderstood, but still kind of make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So his colleague, Jeffrey Pullum, suggested that they make a term for this word and they call it eggcorn. It's related to three different types of linguistic terms, we'll call them. Malapropisms, which is like when you have a phrase or a saying, but you say it wrong. So here's an example from Huck Finn. I was most putrefied with astonishment instead of petrified.
Okay.
So the malapropism has the entire phrase for context.
Sure. So you can kind of figure out what they meant.
Yep, and the eggcorn is the single word. This is also related to mondegreens, which is when
Okay.
you mishear or misinterpret a phrase in a way that gives it new meaning.
Okay.
And this is a whole, we might do an episode on this because the origin of this word is also kind of interesting.
Okay.
But we're going to move on. And then the final related category is folk etymology, which is
Hmm.
where people just misunderstand or misremember or misattribute where a word comes from.
Okay. So that's all of Eggcorns.
Well, eggcorns are related to these different
Oh,
categories,
I
but there
see.
are
I see.
slight differences.
Hmm. Okay. So let's dive into a few of these.
All right.
What do you got here?
This is one that I've heard quoted as the actual real phrase, but according to NPR, it's not. Another think coming instead of another thing. It is
I have
another
heard
thing.
that.
Yeah.
I've heard I got
I've
another
heard
think
people argue
coming.
that nope, you're saying if you say another thing, it's wrong. It's another think, not according to NPR.
Hmm. Okay.
Biting my time instead of
Instead of
biting.
biting. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's a big one.
Yep. Daring do, which is pronounced the same way, but it's supposed to be DERRING instead of DARING.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, well, means like adventurousness.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The extreme court instead of the Supreme Court.
The extreme court.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one that I recall, and it's a big one because our cousin Ethan, he for the longest time thought that silverware,
That's on the list.
yes, silverware, he always thought it was civilware
Yep.
because you are civil if you are eating with it.
Yep.
And he's like, why would it be called silverware? It's not made out of silver. It makes much more sense to be civilware. So there
Did used to
is,
be made out of silver.
well, yeah,
Ethan.
exactly. So yes, that's civilware, silverware.
Yep. This one I hadn't heard before, but I love it. Eye bulbs instead of eyeballs.
Eye bulbs.
Yeah. like a light bulb.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, never heard that one.
Duct tape instead of duct tape, which to be
Yeah,
fair is a brand.
the brand is Duck,
Yep.
but yeah, it
But the
is
type of
duct
tape is duct tape.
because they used to use it on air duct work.
Mm.
And it used to actually be called 100-mile-an-hour tape because it was made for aircraft. And you could tape the outside of your aircraft, and it was made to withstand 100 miles an hour.
Hearbuds instead of earbuds.
No,
Yeah.
earbuds?
Hearbuds,
Oh, I like that one.
right? I'm going to steal some of these.
Okay, honestly though, for writing, you could use these
Oh, yeah.
intentionally to for a character to be saying these kinds of things.
Tons
And
of
it,
writers do that.
yeah, and it would, I don't want to be insulting. I almost wanted to say it makes your character sound uneducated, but that is definitely not what I'm trying to say. Because,
Um, in The Ransom of Red Chief,
okay,
that short story, it's all full of these and it's hilarious.
yeah. Well, yeah, it would be great. Put it in your books. Just
Mm-hmm.
make sure it's obvious that the character is doing it and not that you're just a poor writer for getting it wrong.
Yeah,
You know,
someone's going to think that, but it's worth doing anyway. Magnaphone instead of
instead of
megaphone.
megaphone, magnaphone. That one
Yep,
doesn't even make sense.
it does. Magna, like to make bigger, like magnifying glass.
That's a stretch,
Eh.
I guess.
Mute point instead of a
I've heard
moot point,
I've
or
heard of that.
according to Joey, a moo point.
Moo point.
Nerve wrecking instead of nerve
Oh,
wracking.
wrecking and racking.
Yep.
Okay, that one I could see.
Old wise tale instead of old wives' tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yep. Pass mustard instead of past muster.
What? Pass mustard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Pass or past?
Pass.
Pass
Present tense.
mustard instead of past muster.
Mhm.
Mm,
Real
man.
goal getter. Goal instead of go.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, you could make an argument that you're a goal getter,
Well,
as
that's
in
the
you.
point of this term is you could make an argument for these
Well, okay.
understandings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Towing the line,
Instead of
TOW, like
toting.
towing instead of TOE, towing.
Oh, it's
It's
not
supposed, nope,
toting the line.
nope,
Oh, so
TOE.
there's a double one because I've heard
Uh-huh.
toting the line.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, but it's towing like you're tiptoeing.
Yep.
Mm.
Very close veins instead of varicose veins.
Oh man, very close veins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, I
Varicose.
mean, then I'm gonna bring up the next one, charcuterie,
Uh-huh.
and it's the internet, and they're kind of intentionally making fun of this, but charcuterie.
See, but that doesn't
So,
make sense.
I mean, there is that, but then bon appetit,
Yeah.
bon appetit. People were saying bon appetit or
Bone apple teeth.
bone
Yeah.
apple teeth. Yeah,
Mhm.
bone apple teeth.
Yeah.
And now our other cousin, like Tyler, says it on the regular when he's making food and sending Snapchats
He
out.
does
He
it
says
ironically, though.
bone apple teeth. Yeah, he does.
This is going to be
Um,
the Slam Our Cousins podcast episode.
apparently, yeah. Ethan, Tyler, shout out to you guys.
Whirlwind Romance and
Oh
Whirlwind
no,
Tour instead of Whirlwind.
that's bad.
And Worth Ethic.
Worth ethic.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yep.
okay. Work
Yep.
ethic, worth ethic.
Yep. That is the last of the NPR list 100,
Okay.
100 Eggcorns.
Man, these are good. And like you said, there is an argument to a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
But it's entertaining.
It is
Especially
entertaining.
you go into any comment section on most any post, and you're gonna see some of these kinds of things on social media. Just people getting things wrong, and it's
Oh, yeah.
entertaining. And then, of course, if somebody does something wrong on the internet, you are legally required to point it out to them and let them know that they did something wrong.
Of course, in the most demeaning way possible.
Exactly.
Just be aware
So,
that one day it's going to be you.
yeah, exactly. Okay, you got any others?
Oh, yeah, I'm back on the Chris Weigel's website and there's just
Hmm.
she's so in addition to this being like, hey, these are what eggcorns are, she is endeavoring to create a database of
Mm,
all of them.
okay.
Um,
So,
so there's a whole bunch. I don't want to just read them off. But here's one that I do hear a lot. Holidays sauce instead of hollandaise.
oh no,
Yep,
holidays.
holidays.
Mm, man, I love hollandaise sauce.
It's really good.
Oh God, it goes so good on anything.
It does. But
Mm.
anyway, so there's your eggcorns. Listeners, if you would like to find and submit some eggcorns for our list of 100 Words Are Hard podcast eggcorns
Yeah, drop them in the comments whenever Rachel posts that this is going live.
in like two
Which,
days because we're recording very late because I was sick again this week.
yep, it's one or the other. One of us is sick, or one of your children are sick, or what have you. Starting 25 off well. Also, hope everybody that set New Year's resolutions are still sticking to them. Keep going because that January 17th day passed, and hopefully you're still sticking to it.
This is your motivation, your encouragement. We're
Yes,
cheering you on. We are.
you
That sounded
can
sarcastic, but we
do
are.
it. But yeah, 25 is gonna be intense, like camping.
Do you have any
There, you get it?
resolutions? Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's funny. Haha.
Intense. I want it. That's probably another Eggcorn.
No, that's
Maybe
just a
no.
pun.
You're a pun.
But we've been saying it since high school, so it has lost its
Yeah, we
humor
have.
for me.
No, it's never lost it for me. It's
Do
always
you
funny.
do you have any resolutions?
No, I don't do that.
Way to
And
be
it's
boring.
I don't do it because I just kind of I don't necessarily want to say like I'm a in the moment kind of person, but I kind of take things as they go and plan accordingly. I'm not gonna set unrealistic goals just because it's a social norm to do so.
You don't have to set unrealistic goals. Go back and listen to last week's episode and
Okay,
learn all
yes.
about
I
how to set
mean,
good, smart goals.
yes, those are 100% doable, and I totally understand that. But I don't know. I've got nothing that
So
I
no,
want to.
you could
No,
just say
yeah,
no.
no.
Thanks.
What about you?
No, I also don't do resolutions.
The way you were setting this up was that you had some profound thing that you were gonna do.
No, I have this actually ties into one of the things we talked about for that
Hmm.
episode. I don't want to wait for a specific time or day to start something. So I
Hmm.
have goals that I'm working on, but they didn't start on January 1st.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You're more in a more like I guess like a 5-year plan is just things you're working on
Yep.
and things you're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of, I guess I would say I'm more along that kind of line too. I'm not going to set specific, especially for the social normity of things. I'm not going to, it's
Come on, man.
January, got to set goals,
Cave to social pressure.
right?
You only.
Which
Listeners,
I'm
not
not,
you, just Ramsey.
yeah, I'm not judging anybody that set goals. Go for it, stick to it, and it's great. I just don't. So,
Okay. Do we want a word of the day? We did this whole episode was kind of a word of the day.
um, yeah, let's do one. Let's just stick to it.
All right. Well, I do
How
have
much
one.
time we got left? We have 8 minutes. Okay.
We're under 10 minutes, under 10 minutes.
Okay, what's your word of the day?
Hurly burly.
Hurly burly, hurdy,
Hurly
hurdy.
burly.
It's like the Swedish Chef there.
Yeah.
Hurdy, 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 hurdy.
Meaning commotion or tumult.
Tumult or tumult?
Tumult. Tumult.
I don't even know what that is.
Like a commotion.
Okay, so what hurdy gurdy?
Hurly burly.
Hurly burly. Okay.
From 1530s.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Apparently an alteration of the phrase hurling and burling.
Hurly burly.
Hurling being a verbal noun of hurl.
Hmm. As in to hurl something.
Yep, to hurl something.
Okay.
Shakespeare uses hurley and hurling time.
Okay.
Okay, so we can trace it back to there.
Okay.
Possibly from Swedish hurra, which is like to whirl around.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go.
And what's the burly?
Burly, possibly from Old English, noble, stately, bowerly, like a bower.
Okay. Okay. So
The sense,
you're
it goes on.
tossing something in a noble way?
The sense descended through stout and sturdy or heavily built, which is
Oh,
maybe
that kind of
more.
burly. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what does it mean again?
A commotion or tumult. It's a noun.
A
Sounds
commotion.
like an adjective, but it's a noun.
Hmm. So I was walking through town and heard a hurdy-burdy coming from the alley.
Yes.
Okay. Please, somebody submit writing that has hurly-burly in it. I would love to read that.
And please always say it like you're the Swedish chef.
Hurdy-burdy, exactly. You can't use it unless you say it like the Swedish chef. I was walking through town and I discovered a hurly-burly coming from the alley. Okay.
Good things
If
happen before
you,
7 a.m.
oh God. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Share with your friends or someone who needs to learn some grammar. You can also sign up for Rachel's editing newsletter at rosedeanediting.com. It's ROSEDENE editing.com to get your free 7 steps to line editing checklist.
Hang on, I'm on the other doc.
Oh, good God. You have one job, Rachel. Come on.
To talk about the main topic.
No, it's to deliver this closing line.
I'm also offering a free first page edit through my Line Edits in Action series. You can sign up on my website at
rosedeanediting.com, ROSEDENE editing.com.
and you'll be entered into a weekly drawing for a free line edit of your opening page.
Join us next week as we dive into
This is what I was pulling up, okay? Spelling and pronouncing fantasy names and conlings.
Ooh, okay, that's going to be that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be difficult. Yeah, so join us next week as we dive into that. And remember,
See, aren't you happy that you're not doing the main topic?
man, you just completely cut off my closing words. I was on a roll. That was going to be gold, and you
It's a
just cut it
single
right out.
sentence.
No. Remember, words are hard.
We're here to help. Or something.